At Watch Report, we concentrate on a lot of micro brands and some higher end pieces such as Oris, Tudor, etc. But generally speaking, most of the watches I review are over the $200 price point. So what about under $100 or under $50? How about under $20? These days, everything is so expensive and we consider watches to be a luxury, especially a lot of the watches we buy and specifically watches I review here. Think about what $15 can get you. Heck, I spent more than $15 at Starbucks for 2 people and we only got 2 drinks and a pastry of some kind. So can you buy a usable watch from one of the most well-known names in the watch industry for $15? The answer is yes. Now let me be clear here. Obviously your expectations for a $15 watch need to be kept in perspective. This is a resin case watch, it is pretty thin, it's lightweight, it has a resin strap and a very simple screwed in case back. The water resistance is very low, 30 meters to be exact, and even though it looks like a G-Shock, trust me, it is not, and it does not have the type of shock resistance protection like a G does. The display is pretty clear though, and easy to read, and not as dull as I was expecting. Size-wise, it is pretty close in size, at least in width, to the standard square G-Shock. 42.4 millimeters versus 43.2 millimeters. So just about 1 millimeter smaller than your square G. It is much thinner though at 10.2 millimeters and the weight is 31 grams. It legit feels like you have nothing on the wrist at all. The strap, as I said, is resin and so is the buckle. It's plastic, but at least it is black to match the rest of the watch. The writing on the case is tacky, Illuminator, even though it has piss yellow light on it, and water resist, even though that should never be a selling point for this watch with how low the water resistance is. I have not gotten a pool with it, and if I did and it failed, it's $15. But if you don't want to be replacing it every few months, take it off before you get into the pool would be my suggestion. Or if you need to be able to go into the pool, for $30 more you can get your basic G-Shock, the DW5600E1V, the square G-Shock, but more on that in a minute. Basic functionality of any digital watch the past 30 years is here, so nothing to get crazy about, but it does list it has a 7-year battery. Actually, it lists 7-year battery in one description and in another 10. Let's say you would probably get 5 years at the very least with this watch. Reviews have actually stated it's easy 6, so I may be off by a year. Of course, it depends on what you're using it for, but I can't imagine you are doing any much more than just looking at the time or using the stopwatch. It doesn't even have a timer after all, which for me is a much more useful function than a stopwatch, but everyone's use case varies. Setting the time is a little odd, and I had forgotten how these type of digital watches worked. You push the mode button, that will go through the stopwatch, alarm, etc., and then it will get to the blinking seconds. This is the time and date setting mode. Use the light button, which still does project the light, and also selects what you want to change, and then use the start stop button to advance what you have selected. When all done, hit the mode button, and you are ready to go. As far as wearing it, like I said, it is ridiculously lightweight, but one thing I am impressed with is the strap. The strap is extremely thin, but it feels less plastic than my $100 Camo G-Shock, and that makes it even more comfortable to wear. Yes, it is thin and lightweight, so it's going to be comfortable in general, but if it had a stiff, hard plastic strap, that would really end up irritating my skin, especially in the hot summer months. For my personal tastes, this watch is just too small and lightweight and reminds me more of a kid's watch. I do not mean to demean anyone watching this who owns and wears this watch regularly, it is just how I feel about it. Why did I buy it then? It's a $15 Casio. I kinda had to. I do not think I have had a watch this cheap in over 30 years, and I wanted to see what it was like, and of course, review it here for all of you on video. Who is this watch for? Well, anyone that wants it really, but I think it would be great for kids as long as they know not to spill any liquid on it or jump in the pool with it on. A woman who likes a nice lightweight watch, or anyone who just wants a cheap watch to cut the grass or do yard work, does not like spending a lot of money on a watch and just wants something on the wrist to tell time, or if you want one just because. After all, it is only $15. My girlfriend is already eyeing it up. I would rather spend that extra $30 and get a G-SHOCK that I mentioned above. For that $30 extra, you get 200 meters water resistance, a better looking display, a better light, it's thicker, and of course, shock resistant. And it can also really take a beating. As a matter of fact, that basic G is what I wore for years when working in kitchens. For $45, I do not know if you can do better than that watch if you need something almost indestructible. So why do we buy $3,000 watches at all? Well, that's a discussion for another day. But back to this Illuminator. For $15, it is a fun little watch, and with it being Casio, I'm sure it'll hold up relatively well. And after all, if it doesn't, it costs as much as 2 sub sandwiches, hoagies as we say in these parts. I have both this Illuminator and the basic G-SHOCK linked down below, and they are Amazon affiliate links if anyone wants to check them out. As always, please like, comment, and if not already, subscribe. And hey, give us a follow on social media if you can. We always appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you on the next one.